Gacha Pop, the new Spotify playlist that's gotten way more popular than I ever thought it would. It describes itself as, what pops out? Roll the gacha and find your neo J-pop treasure. And they use the term J-pop very loosely there, because Otoboke Beaver is on this playlist, and they are not J-pop. Anyways, I thought in honor of this playlist doing a good job of getting people to actually listen to Japanese music, I thought I'd talk about some of my favorite songs on it, and also make some suggestions for songs that could be added in the future. And also some removals. Really just get rid of the loud rock songs. Like, I love Bandmade. Unleash is not J-pop at all. Maybe make a gacha rock list next. Heck, I'll do it for you. For free. Hit me up, Spotify. First off, I'd like to highlight a song that I've already talked about on this channel, but I'll take any excuse to do again. That's Odoriko by Vaundy. While Vaundy probably is owed more representation on this playlist than just one song, I'm glad this is the one they chose. He has more popular tracks, but the playlist would not have been complete without this one, because this is absolutely the best J-pop song in the decade. This song is fantastically written. Every note is placed perfectly so that despite its subdued atmosphere, the chorus still hits you deep. The melody is fantastic, and Vaundy's off-kilter vocals feel like they've finally found a home on this style. I've gotten people who don't even like Japanese music to love this song. I've gotten my mom to like this song. Really, it's a shame Vaundy never made anything remotely like this again, because I will gush over it any chance I get. It's perfect. One thing that really surprised me about Gacha Pop is how in tune it seems to be with the actual Japanese pop scene right now. Usually these Spotify playlists are filled with trash and like 200 bad anime songs, but they were actually paying attention while putting this together. Overdose by Natori is a great example of this. This song was a phenomenon last year, but also the kind of song that previous playlists like this would have missed, because it got no attention in the West at all. It's really just a great TikTok song. The overall beat is fine, but you can't deny that that chorus loop is super catchy, which is why it got shoved around on that app constantly. Natori's not super polished vocals also led to the song becoming popular for covers. Even Otto did one. This song was huge for a while, and I'm glad it's getting some love overseas now too. And really, you can't talk about J-pop right now without talking about one man, Fujii Kaze. He's got two songs here, the most popular of which in the West would be his TikTok hit Shinu no ga Iwa, which is a fine song, but I think works better as a TikTok sound than like an actually well-written song. There's plenty of better songs on Help Ever Hurt Never, to be honest with you. What I really want to talk about is the song here from his second album, that being Matsuri. That song's the bigger hit in Asia, but hasn't gained quite the same traction in the West yet. Even though it should, cause it's fantastic. It's a chill R&B song that features a super catchy chorus and arguably Kaze's best ever vocal performance. He sounds so cool on this song. The instrumental is also perfectly produced and not overdone in the slightest, which I appreciate. I don't even think this is the best song on the album either. Seishun Sick and Damn are both fantastic, but in terms of an intro to Fujii Kaze, this might be the best selection. Now, the mainstream songs on this are picked really well, but they're also not something you need to be super in touch with J-pop to select. You probably could have just looked at the Billboard Japan Hot 100 and came back with all three of those tracks. But then you scroll further down, and you see that boyz is here, which I was not expecting at all, but it's a very welcome surprise. boyz is a duo of up-and-coming Japanese rappers Toji and Gummy Boy, and they're two artists that are doing some really cool stuff. My Life is an energetic rap song very influenced by the dance scene, and to a lesser extent the hyperpop one as well. It takes some of the dance pop and cloudier flavor that scene helped to permeate, but boyz make it all their own. Toji is a super underrated vocalist, both in terms of rapping and singing. He really just has a cool sounding voice in general. This track is great. boyz and Toji are only going up, and they're definitely artists to watch. Also coming from that rap, hyperpop type scene is another underground artist featured here, Asaki. Now the song they selected is Sugar Junkie, which is a weird pick because it is very far from my favorite Asaki song. It's just kind of generally weak, like the vocals don't really work on this beat. The beat itself is also kind of bad. It's just a really weird selection. I would have been more down for either Log Out or Ring Ring You Kill Me from her more recent album Killer in Neverland, but it's still great that she's being featured here at all. Another one from the realm of up-and-coming artists, Pasocom Music Club got featured here too with Day After Day from their new album Fine Line, which I've done a whole review on, both the album and the song. Spoiler alert, I love them both. Pasocom Music Club continues to be one of the coolest things going on in J-pop, really with that whole record, but this closing track is a good showcase of their ability. It distills a lot of their strengths into one song: their instrumental versatility, their brilliance with using synths and percussion, their skill at choosing guest singers. This is definitely a good intro song to show you what they're all about. My only issue with this is that it's more of a slow burn song than the type that I think would grab someone on the first listen of a playlist, so maybe Pump or Kick and Go from the same album would work a little better. Either way, I love this song. I'm just really happy pasocom Music Club ended up here at all. I will fangirl for them always. Now I want to talk about some songs that are not on this playlist, but if they do, future updates would be cool to see added. And if they do future updates, they probably put a lot of this video out of date, but oh well. Continuing on with the hyperpop trends flirted with by Asaki and Mall Boys, I'd love to see Japanese hyperpop group Tasta feature here, probably with a song like Sunameri Smoke. That song is one of their most accessible tracks, but it doesn't diminish what makes them great in any way. It's catchy on a first listen with a fantastic bass line and super fresh chorus, and it also contains a feature from another rising Japanese producer, Quando. You can hit two birds with one stone here. It's also just fun and unique, something Tasta have on lock. It's got the internet gacha pop feel without being too alienating for people who are coming to this playlist from Idol, which I think a lot of people probably are. Continuing on from them, let's go to their friends, fellow hyperpop group Peter Parker 69. Specifically, I want to highlight Flight to Mumbai, as I firmly believe this is one of the best pop songs I've heard all year. It contains just enough English to hook the Western fan who's new to Japanese music, while also having some of the best Japanese pop melodies I've heard in forever. And these are all covered in auto-tune and layered over a trap beat just for good measure. This is a great pick for the underground hyperpop scene that is going kinda underrepresented on this playlist with how much has been happening in it recently. Another thing going underrepresented on this playlist, Vocaloid. I mean, there's some here, like Pinocchio P gets a song, but I want more. So let's talk about Valkamin by Kashii Moimi. I think for people who are going to this playlist from Idol, this would be a great pick because they have pretty similar vibes. The instrumental on this one plays it super fast and upbeat with some Eurobeat stretches thrown in for good measure. It's also got a super hype and kinda long chorus that, again, I think fans of Idol would absolutely love. This song is just begging to be put on a playlist like Gacha Pop. Another one of the prevailing trends in Japanese pop, really for a while now, has been the influence of funk rhythms. These kind of shine through with some artists like Yoasobi and Zutomayo, both of whom are heavily on the playlist. But I want to talk about two funky songs that aren't but should be. First off is Oshara Sugete Doshio by Mega Shinnosuke, which is another song that I think nails the gacha pop vibe. It's a super funky pop song by a young and fresh artist with some house touches and a rap breakdown thrown in for good measure. I'm actually kind of shocked this one wasn't on the playlist to begin with. It's kind of popular too and is just a fantastic pick. And now a similarly funky song, but also kinda in the complete opposite direction, FDF album version by Cero. While most of the artists I've focused on so far are new, fresh faces making waves in Japanese music, Cero is not that. They've been around since the mid-2000s, but their sound has always felt unique, and simultaneously ahead of and behind the times. And with the release of their new album, I think they're finally both coming into their own and finding their place in the wider music landscape. FDF is the best new J-pop song I've heard in all of 2023 so far. This was a single in 2020, but this new version puts the old one to shame, with vastly improved production, especially in the percussion. This song is super catchy, super cool, and with some funk and psychedelia just to top it all off. While Cero is by no means part of this new young wave taking over the pop scene, they slot into it as veterans very nicely. One more veteran that would fit into this wave quite nicely, but unfortunately hasn't really released anything since it started, is Videotapemusic. His vaguely vaporwave approach to pop is refreshing and I think would resonate with this generation who is raised with a wider internet access to music. Cocktail Moon would probably be his most fitting song for the Gacha Pop playlist with its funkier lo-fi approach and fully English vocals courtesy of a feature from Mellow Fellow. Videotapemusic's also been around since the early 2010s, but just like Cero, I think we're only now entering the point where what he's doing is able to get fully appreciated. Finally, one last song from another artist in the same seen as Paz Tasta and Peter Parker 69, I'd like to highlight Satoh and their song On Air, which is one of the coolest things I've heard so far this year. People love to talk about genre bending and all that, but this is one of the finest examples of it I've ever heard, smashing together pop, rock, and rap all perfectly. This song is simple, but every aspect of it is perfectly executed. The chorus is catchy, the rapping is solid, and the feature from Lovely Summer-chan rounds off this song perfectly. She should really be on the playlist too, so just like Sunameri Smoke, we're killing two birds with one stone. By the way, Spotify, if you hire me, I will make the best Japanese music playlist ever. Do it, please, I need a job. Anyways, thanks for watching. Like, comment, sub. Really appreciate it. Bye!